Hi, welcome to the first episode of Ballin. Welcome to the Heat Pit. I'm Rick Canary.
I'm Lily.
I'm Seraph.
And I'm Jackson Canary.
We are the family that is responsible for raising all of these snakes and breeding the beautiful morphs that you will see coming from the Heat Pit in the very near future. So to start this off with a shameless plug, please visit www.theheatpit.com. Check out our blog with all of the information about upcoming clutches that we have, as well as the hatchlings that we currently have available. Also check it out because we are going to do a vlog with Billy Rose of Mutation Creation, which will serve as an educational, informative series of videos where we intend to educate the experienced and beginner keeper, as well as dispel some of the myths that are floating around in the hobby about how to keep these animals safe, healthy, and secure.
Number one, they're not slimy.
No, true. That's very true. First lesson for you beginners out there. Snakes are not slimy. So what I'd like to do is take a minute just to let myself educate these guys with I'll admit, with my limited knowledge of ball python keeping, because I too am more or less a beginner, even though I have this relatively sizable collection. But I'd like to establish a mentor-mentee relationship with these youngins, if you know what I'm talking about. So to begin, I'd like to ask one of them, how do you first take one of these animals out of their habitat? Anyone? Bueller?
Yes.
Okay, Lily, how do you take these animals out of their habitat? Here, let's move our utility table out of the
Is this a
way.
game show? Do we think
Is it a game show? You don't win anything, but we can play it like a game show.
Okay, what's snake?
So, who should we do here?
Just do
Roku.
Max. Max is
Okay.
the nicest.
Okay, so Jackson called out Roku. Let's do Roku first.
I'm sorry.
You're in the way of the light there, Jack. So, step back. Step over here more. Yeah, that's a good spot. So, hold on. She's opening the tub. And in our tubs, the way we have them set up first of all with quintessentially a water dish.
Not the cleanest right now.
Secondly, well, it's clean. It's just full of some of the substrate, the cocoa husk that we use. And then we also have a hide in here for these particular tubs. Now, these racks are subadult females or males up to 1,500 grams. And while they're still in the range of 8 to 1,200 grams, I tend to also provide a hide. These are Sterilite tubs, 27-liter Sterilite tubs that you can get at Walmart, what have you. I put holes in the side with a soldering iron, just for breathing purposes.
Oh, kind of.
For oxygen, but I've been told by my mentor Billy that that's unnecessary because there's enough oxygen flow between the top of the shelf and the top of the tub itself, just to keep humidity inside. So Lily's going to show us how we're going to reach in and take care of Roku. So first of all, she's going to take the hide out gently, right? It's the first thing that she's going to do. And put the hide down, and there's Roku. Just like a ball python, what does she do?
Ball.
What does she do?
She like balls up. She makes herself into a ball. She hides.
You have to speak louder so the
She
audience can hear
hides.
us. She
Like
hides.
balls, she like turns into a ball.
That's what they do. That's what ball pythons do, is generally hide. And I'd first like to dispel the myth that these are dangerous animals in any sort of way. The first thing that they tend to do, most times, I have some that are nippy, but if you're doing
Uncle
things
Dave.
properly, the first thing that they do is hide. Yeah, if we're talking about Uncle Dave, don't go in his tub because he's going to take a finger. Unless you do things properly, which is why we're discussing how to do things properly, right? Because we don't want Uncle Dave to take our thumb off. All right, so, and yes, we named a snake Uncle Dave. We'll explain that later.
He's right.
Roku.
Hashtag Uncle Dave.
Hashtag Roku. Roku here is looking at us like, what are you doing? So Lily's going to show us how to deal with this. First of all, what do?
You're going to take, you're going to
Let's tell the camera. Let's tell the camera.
You're gonna basically control them. You're gonna put your hand behind where they can't see you.
Okay,
So
so
you
first
control
lesson.
them.
To control them, you put your hand behind them where they can't see you. That's a good lesson, Lily. Thank you. So, reach in and behind Roku. Right, touch her first. At that point, guaranteed there's not going to be any biting, nipping, nothing. So she's got her by the back. She's taking her out. And there's Roku. Easy peasy Japanesey, right?
Easy peasy Japanesey.
Hands Roku.
There's Roku. So Roku is an Enchi yellow belly that we acquired from Henry Purin. Thank you, Henry. She's getting up in size. She's roughly somewhere between 800 and 1,000 grams. She was born in 2016. I like to keep these handy cards
I'll bring it up.
on every tub that we have that has the information about the date of birth of the animal, the particular morph of the animal, and we like to name all of our keeper animals. In this case, the animal's name is Roku.
Roku.
I don't like to name the hatchlings that we intend to depart with, simply because there's that emotional attachment. And in another vlog, we're going to discuss the emotional attachment aspect of it, particularly with respect to rats, which we're keeping up here. These are rats that didn't get eaten this week, that we keep over. My wife has a tendency to get emotionally attached a little bit, just a tad, and I try to say, hey, let's maybe not do that. Watch the lights there, guys, because we want to make sure there's lights, okay?
This is the name, Roku. That's what type of snake it is, and girl or boy.
Okay, so we're going to put the name tag back. And Lily, thank you for showing us how to take Roku out of her tub.
Okay.
And back she goes. What's that?
I was gonna say, and we tell if they're a male or female by the number. 1.0 is a male and 0.1 is a female.
Very good, Jackson. So that's like some jargon from the hobby that a lot of people have a question about to begin with. What do you mean 1.0 Enchi yellow belly or 0.1 Enchi yellow belly? What does that mean? It sounds like it's like a tenth of a snake. I don't want to buy a tenth of a snake. I don't want to like order a snake and then just get the tail or the head in the mail, right? That doesn't sound like a good deal. Did you fart in the corner? What I would like to know is some of these jargony terms. So 0.1 and 1.0, Jackson makes a good point. What does that mean? 1.0 essentially means a male, 0.1 means a female. So on the left side of the decimal place is how many males. So if I said my collection consists of 18.49 ball pythons, what does that mean? It means I have 18 males and 49 females. So what else do we need to know that we've learned while keeping ball pythons, guys?
Wait, is that what this is for? Sure? That's how many you have.
That's actually, Seraph's asking about a number on the card. That's actually just a number that I use for classification in a database to take for records of the animals. But what else do we need to know about these animals, guys?
Is there a het?
Het! That's a great question. What does het mean? Anybody, what does het mean? What does het mean?
I forget.
You forget?
I forgot.
Do you remember? Does anybody remember?
No.
What hets do we have here?
We
Oh, we
have.
have het caramels.
Oh, yes, we do. We have het
We have this one. We
caramels.
have the asphalt
We have
66%
het
het.
caramels.
So we have an
Albino.
asphalt 66% het albino.
Use pin het.
A lot of our hatchling rack right here are het animals. So-
How come it's 66%?
Well, I'll explain that briefly. I don't want to make this video too long, but let's talk about the genetic components. So, as far as genes are concerned, there's two types of genes. Well, there's many more. This is all debatable. So, in the meanwhile, let's discuss het for a minute, just to get a handle on it. So, it's debatable that there's incomplete, dominant, recessive, all that. That may be true. once I've had a conference with a geneticist, then I'll believe in all these different kinds of genetic makeups. But for now, as far as I'm concerned, there's genes that are in the animal that don't express themselves. In other words, they have the gene, but it doesn't show up in what's called their phenotype, or the expression of the gene. Exactly, expression of the gene. Right, so blade clown, like, you know, a clown with a blade, like the Joker. We named him after Heath Ledger. Anyhow.
He's a jerk.
He's not a jerk anymore. So, when it comes to genes, there's genes that are in the animal that express themselves, and genes that are in the animal that don't express themselves. So, the difference between het and non-het, you have homozygous, which is a gene that expresses itself, no matter what. So, for example, if you have
That's who he is.
yeah, but lead. So hold on, I just want to show an animal that's definitely homozygous.
Okay, small.
So a homozygous gene, for example, would be GHI or Mojave. If the animal has the gene, in them, they're gonna express the gene. So Keenan here, definitely 100% is a GHI and a Mojave. So he's expressing both the GHI gene and the Mojave gene. However, if you have a recessive gene, recessive meaning this is how the DNA helix works. On one side, you have an allele, and on the other side, you have an allele. In order for a recessive gene to express itself, there has to be the gene on both sides. A homozygous gene, you only need one. And you get Keenan here. You get the GHI Mojave. GHI Mojave. But on the helix, the recessive genes, you have to have a gene on this side and a gene on this side. So, recessive genes, like the clown gene, like, for example, Ledger here.
You're the rat lover.
Ledger needs to have the clown gene on both sides, on both alleles, in order for the clown gene to show itself, to express itself. So if he only has one, in other words, his mom or his dad was a clown, but the other parent wasn't, he only has one of them, then we have a heterozygous animal. A heterozygous animal is one that carries the gene, but it doesn't express itself. We have a number of
No
those.
paparazzis.
So,
Green paparazzi.
for example, Cordelia here. Cordelia here is a pinstripe, but she's also heterozygous for caramel and orange ghost. In other words, she has a hypomelanistic gene called orange ghost in her that basically rubs out all of the dark coloration and frosts her over. She also has a gene in her called caramel that makes all of her orange or green patterning come out looking like a caramel or a dulce de leche. So those are two genes she's heterozygous for, meaning she's not expressing herself. It's not coming out. It's in her, but it's not showing itself. So I'd need to pair her with another animal that's heterozygous for both of those genes in order to produce an animal that displays or has the phenotype for both of those genes. So that's a quick, well, I wouldn't call it quick, but that's an explanation for what het means.
By the way, this is the snake that she was talking about. He used to be yellow, but I think it's showing it kind of in yellow in the picture.
Put him in the
but
light.
He's white. He's white now. He had a weird shed, and then he just turned white. Kind of looks yellowish in the camera, but I don't mean to.
So this is he was a pastel banana. Let me see how it works without this light, because it seems to be causing a lot of...
It's not in a bad mood.
In the video, he sort of looks yellow. But
Well, he's getting white once I get closer.
like surfacing.
It's a little bit better. So you can see him a little bit better now. He was a pastel banana. Well, he still is a pastel banana. With a coral glow, who is primarily orange, yellow, and a lavender color. And then over the course of about 2 sheds, this strange thing happened where he went stark white like this, like almost like albino, with this pink coloration. I've heard it's been known to happen with a number of different morphs, a number of different animals. But it's cool that we have one of them, and I'm wondering if it's a genetic trait or a genetic anomaly. We'll find out with time. But for now, we have this really cool animal who's definitely a favorite of the kids. I know Lily here takes him out on a regular basis. So we're gonna put Ledbetter back. Hey! So that was our brief little video about a few of the basics to do with ball pythons. And we'd just like to thank you for viewing. And please subscribe to our channel down below. Also, please take some time to subscribe to our newsletter on our website, where you'll receive updates and all kinds of things, including possible giveaways. Hey, free snakes, why haven't you signed up already? So this has been an episode of Ballin. This is
Jackson.
This is
Seraph.
This is
Lily.
I'm Rick.
And this is the Heat Pit.